Hey, what's going on, fellow future millionaires? Welcome to the Millionaire University Podcast, the only school where you graduate rich, not broke. Today, we are in for a treat. We are going to be talking about SEO, search engine optimization. How do you get people searching on Google and other sites to come to you, to come to your website so you can get more business? So recently, we have wanted to do more content on Millionaire University, more written content, I should say. We're doing a lot of podcasts, and we want to do more articles, more written content for two reasons. Number one, to give you guys more value, and number two, to improve our SEO, to improve and increase the amount of people that we have coming to the Millionaire University website. So we've been doing a lot of research on the SEO pros out there, and there's this guy named Brandon from SEO Optimizers I'm on his email list. He keeps coming across my desk. I keep reading and seeing interesting things about him. So we reached out to him last week. We hopped on a call. Brandon really knows his stuff, and we talked, and we're like, hey, you got to come on the podcast. You got to share some of this stuff with our listeners. It's incredibly valuable. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the one and only Brandon Leibowitz. I know I said your name wrong, Brandon. How do you say it again?
No, you got it right. Brandon Leibowitz. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome, Brandon. It's exciting to have you here, man.
I'm excited to share some tips with everybody about SEO and help spread that knowledge so they can all get more free traffic.
So let's start off. I always like to start by hearing your background story, because I feel like our listeners, me especially, but our listeners, we love hearing about how other people got going on their entrepreneurial journey. How did they go from working a job or whatever it was they're doing to doing the thing that they love? I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think every part of business is you absolutely love it. That's not like, I'm not that kind of guy, but I digress. How did you go from doing whatever it is you were doing to becoming a full-time entrepreneur? How did you get into this?
Just kind of fell into this digital marketing world back in 2007. I graduated from college, got my degree in business marketing, and one of the first jobs I got out of school was helping a company out with their digital marketing, which I didn't know much about it. They didn't really teach you that in school back in 2007.
Yep.
And even if they did, it just gets outdated so quickly. So the company was new to this as well and said, don't worry, we're going to take you to workshops and classes and seminars and learn with you. And after doing that for a few months, just realized everyone's probably going to have a website. There's lots of ways to get traffic. Back then I was helping out with their social media, doing paid ads, doing email marketing, doing SEO, which all works to get more traffic. But over the years, I just focused more on SEO because I thought, who doesn't want free traffic? SEO is just a way to get free traffic. And I worked at different advertising agencies over the years. And before work and after work and on my lunch breaks, I'd work on my own company and eventually built that up to where I was able to quit my job and been doing this ever since, just helping people get that traffic.
I love that. Getting paid to learn. And that's what I'm always telling people. Like, if you can get paid to learn, like, that's huge. And that's what you did. You went and worked for this company. You learn, and not just paid to learn a valuable skill. Like, if you're going to get paid to learn how to dig a ditch and then you dig ditches for 5 years, like, probably not the most lucrative opportunity, right? But getting paid to learn how to do digital marketing, that's golden, man. If you can do that, that's amazing. So good for you, man.
Yeah, I got lucky with that. Definitely fell into it at the right time. And one of the first workshops that we went to was this 3-day seminar or weekend seminar. And the people that would speak there would say, I have like 10 different websites. I do drop shipping and affiliate marketing and all this other stuff. And this is back in 2007. And the company I was working for made a really niche product. They made 3D lenticular products. They didn't really have too much competition. So I realized back then that I could just try to go to like a local business, restaurants, or anybody that's a local business and try to just see if they needed help with SEO, which back in 2007, nobody really understood what it was. Took a while for people to really understand the value of SEO. Now people are really understanding the value as the past couple of years. But before that, it was really just tough to get people to understand that websites are the future. SEO is a free traffic source, and you should try to get in sooner than later because the older your website is, the more trust Google's going to give to you, which we could talk all about that later as well.
I love it. Already diving into it. So I wanted to break this down into 3 different parts. As I've studied SEO and as we talk to you, there's kind of 3 different categories that I came up with, but we're going to go all over. We're going to go down rabbit holes. Brandon, if you have anything that you want to add that I'm missing since you're the expert, feel free to jump in. So the first category is your website. How do you optimize the technical parts of your website? Number 2 is content, creating the content and doing like the keyword research, knowing what articles, what kind of blogs to post, things to write about on your website. And number 3 is backlinks and how to get that backlink juice, where you should focus, what matters, how it helps. So those are the 3 areas that we're going to focus on today. So let's start off with the first category, just general website. What's like good general website knowledge? What kinds of things? You went through our website and told us all kinds of things that we could improve, things that I don't know if we were doing wrong per se, but weren't best practices. What are some of those things that business owners can do? Because to me, that's the lowest hanging fruit, right? It's like, may as well optimize your website so Google knows what to look for so you have the best chance of getting the most viewers, right? So I'll quit rambling. Go for it.
Yeah, most people aren't doing the wrong thing with their website. They're just not going in and making the changes that Google wants to see, because search engines, when they look at a website, they don't see what we see. When we look at a website, we see the images, the videos, there's podcast, audio, all that stuff. But search engines, all they see is text, code. And basically, they're just looking through that code for you to put keywords, text, essentially. The more text you have on your website, the easier it is for the search engines to read through and know what that page is about. Because if you're just an e-commerce website, for example, and you just have a bunch of product pictures, that's good. But Google can't really read too much with the images other than a file name. But other than that, they need more text. And the more text anybody puts on a website will help Google just read that page better and know what that page is about. But this doesn't require any coding, because it gets kind of technical with SEO, changing the coding and putting keywords in all these different places, like a title tag or meta description. But the most important place really is the content on every single page on your website. Not just the homepage, but every page that you want to rank needs to have text. The more text you put on that page, the better off you're going to be. Just don't hide it. A lot of people will be like, I don't want to put a bunch of text on my website. It might clutter it up. It takes away from what I want people to do. But basically, you have to have that balance with SEO and for Google for people where people don't want to read a lot of text. So if you have that text at the very bottom of your page, that's going to be better, because people's attention spans nowadays are really short. You can just have like bullet points or images or videos that convey what that page is about. And then lower down that page, you can put all this text to help Google better understand what that page is about. That alone will really help get everybody more traffic. You just have to put it on every single page on your website. It has to be original content. You can't copy it from one page to another. You have to write unique content for each page.
Okay. So you want as much text as possible, but obviously that's also informative and is in line with what your topic is, the thing, right? You don't want to just jibber jabber, right? You want to make sure you're covering the topic. It's got to make sense to the listener. But what you're saying is you can put all the most valuable information up top, and then you could add a bunch of additional text, like to further down on the website. Am I hearing you right?
Yep, that's more for conversion rate optimization, because once people get to your website, how do you keep them there to actually do what you want them to do? And if they just get hit with a big block of text, especially on mobile, they're just going to be like, this might be a little too much. I'm going to hit that back button and find another website, because there's 10 other options on that first page of Google. There's ads. There's a lot of options out there for people. If they don't find what they're looking for right away, they're going to hit that back button. And the more you're able to give to people right away in terms of like a value proposition, like what's in it for me from going to this page, a couple bullet points, maybe a video, and then lower down, you can put all this text for people that want to learn more and read more. But essentially, you got to capture their attention really fast. And that's where it's got to have that balance for people and for Google. Google wants that text. People don't want to read hundreds of words of text anymore.
Gotcha. And then the more they click back, like that's an indication to Google that we're not going to rank this person very high because they're not giving the reader what they want, correct?
Essentially, Google looks at user experience. And if people search on Google, go to your website, and then 1 second later, they hit that back button and go back to Google, that tells Google, let's say, for example, you're ranked number one for that keyword, and Google sees that a lot of people that go to your website are leaving. Google might drop you down to number two and move number two to number one. And then they're going to test and see, all right, now that we moved number two to number one, do people stay on the website? And if so, then great, we're going to keep number two as now the number one position and move them up. But a lot of people go that number two and still hit that back button, and then they're just going to keep going down. And they're always testing just to see what provides the best user experience, because Google knows that it's all about a user experience. Google wants to make money, and Google only cares about really making money, you clicking on ads. And the best way to keep you on Google is by providing the best search results. If you provide low quality search results where people are going, searching on Google, going to that website, and then they're hitting that back button, Google's probably not doing a good job. And you're probably eventually going to be like, I'm going to Bing or Yahoo or DuckDuckGo or some other search engine. And Google doesn't want that to happen. So they're constantly testing. If everyone searches that's listening right now to this episode for the same keyword, we're all going to get slightly different results depending on your geolocation, your search history, but also Google's just testing to see what gets the best user experience and what's going to keep people on that website longer. That way, Google is providing the best search results.
So we essentially went straight to content, which I'm totally cool with. Like, I'm all about adapting, right? So let's talk more about content. How does one determine where to start with creating content for their website that will get ranked and also provide value to their audience?
I would look at your competition, just see what your competitors are doing, because with SEO, the nice thing about it is I could see what you're doing. You could see what I'm doing if you look in the right places. And an easy thing to do is just go into Google, search for your keywords, see who's on that first page of Google, skip over the ads. We're not going to look at the ads, but just search your keyword and look at those 10 organic websites that are ranked on Google, open them all up, and you can see how much text everyone is using, how long everyone's writing their content, because it's not really a one size fits all. A lot of people said in the past, you should write 400 words of text, which is a good average, but it really depends on that search. If Google said, we want you to write for the user. And if somebody's searching for something really simple, really basic, that doesn't need a bunch of words, you don't need to write all that extra filler content. Like if someone's just searching like, how do you tie your shoes? Basically, you can only write a couple hundred words about that.
Sure.
So you don't have to go too in depth. But if somebody's searching for how to change my car engine, you could probably write a couple thousand words about that. Basically, you just have to write for the user. And the best way to see what Google's looking for is search Google, see how much text your competition's using, and kind of average it out. If everyone is writing 1,000 words, you should write 1,100 words. Try to do a little bit more than the competition. If everyone's writing 200 words, then you should only write 250 or 300 words. So just try to do a little bit better than your competition.
Okay, so go into Google, search what you think are your best keywords you have, see what's coming up essentially, and those are basically the people you're competing with. Check out why you think they're ranking, or what the article, what post came up, what article came up, what page came up, and look at that and try to see how you can do better. Or do you think it's a good idea to maybe look at the top 3 or 4 and get an idea of what they're all doing and try to come up with the best parts of all of it and create your own, but make it your own and make it better? Is that kind of what I'm hearing from you?
Basically doing better than the competition, but I would look at everyone on that first page of Google. So all top 10 positions.
Okay, all of them.
Look at what they're doing and just get ideas, because some of them might have a lot of similarities where you're like, all right, I have to talk about this. And then someone might talk about something different where you're like, maybe I should talk about it because it is going to help my audience, but only write for the user. If you're just writing to throw everything together into one giant article, not going to be the best.
Totally. Write what makes sense to you and your expertise, but also look at what other people are writing about, because they'll give you an idea of what people are looking for, what Google thinks people want, right? Tell me about search tools or keyword research tools. Do you use those? Do you recommend those? Which ones do you recommend? How would one go about using those to help them create content?
You definitely want to look at search volume, how many people search for a keyword every single month. And that is where you could use different tools. There's free and paid tools that will help you do keyword research and also help you come up with new keyword ideas. But really, you want to look at the search volume. How many people search for that keyword every single month? Because little changes have a big impact where you could use a singular versus a plural or a synonym. And it's all going to get different search volume. And sometimes it can be really big discrepancies. One of my clients, they're a personal injury law firm, which we want to rank for personal injury lawyers. That gets 20,000 searches a month, but personal injury lawyer, singular, gets 200,000 searches a month. Just by removing that one letter, you could get 10 times more traffic, and you could guess at it and you might get it right, but doing keyword research doesn't really take too long. I mean, I kind of showed you how to do it a couple weeks ago, where you're just going into tools like the Google Keyword Planner, you put your keyword in there and it'll show you how many people search for that keyword every single month. And it doesn't take that long, but a lot of people skip that aspect of content creation, whether it's writing articles, blogs, podcasts, press releases, even social media posts, whatever content you're putting out there. If you're writing a book, the title of the book, the singular and plural, all going to have different search volume because people are searching, and you want to try to capture as much traffic as possible that's relevant and just not too hyper competitive.
Okay, great. So Google Keyword Planner, am I saying that right?
Yep, the Google Keyword Planner, everyone can just go into Google, search for Keyword Planner, Google Keyword Planner, and it is a free tool. You have to sign up with Google Ads because it's not really a tool for SEO, it's more for Google Ads. They'll show you a lot of information about ads, but they will show you one thing that helps with SEO, which is the search volume. There's paid tools if you want to buy a paid tool like Ahrefs or Moz, SEMrush. There's tons of other keyword research tools out there.
You mentioned to us SEO Surfer, is that what it's called?
That's another tool that helps with content creation.
Okay.
So Surfer SEO is there's so many tools out there, and the tools are going to just help make your life much easier, because if you try to do it manually or do it on your own, it will work. It's just these tools just help speed things up a little bit more. So it's definitely beneficial to find a tool. And a lot of these tools are kind of like all-in-one tools, like Ahrefs or Moz or SEMrush will do a lot. They're like 15 tools in one. So it helps out with a lot of different aspects of SEO and digital marketing.
Okay, so you don't need all these tools. Just like, which one would you recommend? Or which tools would you recommend?
It's up to you. Between Ahrefs, Moz, and SEMrush, those are the more popular ones that will do keyword research. They'll track backlinks. They'll track keyword rankings. So you can see what position you're in today versus next week versus next month. And you can see, am I improving? Am I dropping? What's going on with my keyword rankings? And it does a ton of other tools built into those tools. But really just you need to pick one. They're all pretty similar for the most part. You just don't need to buy all three.
Okay. You mentioned, I was looking at some of the emails I got from you in the past, and one of them was how to check your website health. I assume that's kind of related to what we're talking about, right? To these websites. How would one go about checking their website health, and how they know like where they're at, what they need, what's the low-hanging fruit, what they can improve on?
I actually have a tool on my website that will give you a free website analysis.
Okay.
And it'll check out your website, the coding, and give you any issues or any technical issues. It'll give you a report if they just go to seooptimizers.com/audit, AUDIT, and they can put their website in there and get a free website audit. And there's lots of other tools out there like Ahrefs and Moz and SEMrush, those other tools we talked about, will give you audits. And every tool is going to give you slightly different data points. And it's great to just get some insights. Also, there's a tool from Google called Google Search Console. It's a free tool it's like Google Analytics is a free tool that will track your traffic. Google Search Console is a free tool that will track everything about SEO, and it will give you somewhat of an audit. It doesn't really give you a real audit, but it will show you any issues with site speed. It will show you any issues with like how long pages take to load, if they don't look good on mobile. Because Google said a while back that if your website's not mobile friendly, we're not going to show you on mobile devices. And I have had a client before where they had a mobile friendly website, but Google didn't think it was mobile friendly because of the colors were too close to one another, that we had to just change these colors up a little bit. And then they became mobile friendly, and mobile brings over half the traffic nowadays to most websites. And if you're not mobile friendly, you're not gonna you're really missing out on a lot of low hanging fruit that's quick and easy to fix. So there's tools like that will help you out with that. So the more places that you get these audits, the better you're going to be informed about your website, because they're all going to show slightly different data points to look at.
Okay. So we kind of talked about some of the tools and different ways you can figure out what to write about. How I want to talk more about content. I mean, I've heard people talk about like content clusters, and I know you were talking about like linking within your website. Like, do you do any of that? Like, how would one go about creating a content strategy, right? Like, I know you can do keyword research, but isn't it like where you want to make one overarching topic and then a bunch of interconnected? Talk to me about that a little more.
Yep, you want to establish what is called topical relevancy to Google. So if you're just posting on your website and you have a website and you list out all your services, that's great. You have a page for each service. Google's going to be able to read that and say, all right, great. We see that. Let's say that you're offering like hypnotherapy and you're a hypnotherapist and you have a page about hypnotherapy. Google's like, great. We see that you have this page, but we don't have enough content on this website to really make us think that you really are a hypnotherapist. And that's where blogging became really popular. His blogs are an easy way to add more content to your website. And if you could add more pages to your website, such as like you write an article, or someone might be saying like, how can I reduce or have a better night's sleep? And you can write an article on your blog about how hypnotherapy can improve someone's sleep. And you write that article about it. Somebody searches for how to improve my sleep. That hypnotherapy article could rank and bring people into your website. But Google also sees that now you have content about benefits of hypnotherapy that could help with sleep, or you write an article about how it can help with anxiety, or it can help you stop smoking, and all these other benefits of it. And you create all this content on your website. Now Google sees not only that you have one page about it that says I do hypnotherapy, but now you have 10 other blog posts that all talk about the different benefits of hypnotherapy. Google then thinks that you're more or better could read that website and better understand that this whole website is about hypnotherapy. And then within all that content, you try to link those blogs together. So if one blog post is about how to quit smoking, another in that blog post you could say, and here's a list of other benefits of hypnotherapy. And then you link to the sleep page, or to how it could help with whatever topics that they want to talk about. So creating all these more like benefit type of pages where you won't really list all that out on the hypnotherapy page, service page, because you don't want to just make it really long. You want to just kind of explain what hypnotherapy is and the benefits of it. But then you have all these other pages that go really in depth about other topics that are related to hypnotherapy and link it all together.
Okay. So let's talk about content creation can take a long time, right? So let's dive into a little more like what kind of tools and or people can we use to help us create this content? And by tools, I don't mean just to search for it, but like, I mean, are you using AI? When is it good to use AI? When is it not good to use AI? And then how can, like, if we use like with content writers, does that make sense? Where can we find that? Anyway, go ahead. We'll start with the AI and the tools, and then we'll get into like the people aspect of it.
No, you should definitely get writers to write the content. Unfortunately, most writers are now going to sell writing or content, but using AI. There's still a lot of good writers out there, but it's tough to find them. I had a lot of writers that would write content for me, and now all of a sudden I see one writer that would write one article a week, now writing 7 articles a week. And I'm just like, all right, something's a little off. And it's just, yeah, you got to be aware. But most people are going to use AI nowadays because Google said we don't care anymore who writes content as long as it offers value. If you're just having AI write the content, it's probably not going to offer value because AI does AI hallucinations. And if it doesn't know the answer, it's going to make it up. But if you use AI as more of like a starting point to give you like ideas of like content or help you write an outline, or if you did have it write your whole service page for that hypnotherapist, that's okay as long as you edit it and double and triple check it, because it's not going to be accurate. If you just copy and paste it, you're going to put incorrect information, and that's not going to be good. So you could use AI to write content. I still prefer to use people, but it is tough to find people. And yeah, it's really, really tough to find good writers nowadays because AI is just so quick and so easy. And the more people that use it, the better it becomes. I mean, right now it's pretty good. It's just not perfect. So just can't rely on it solely.
So what do you recommend? I mean, if someone, you said you don't recommend people write the content themselves, right? Do you recommend that they use AI? And if yes, what kind of tips do you have for using AI? Or do you think they should get writers? And if they do, how do you know how to find the good ones?
Yeah, I mean, if you can find writers, that would be great that are not using AI. But fortunately, most writers that people are going to find are going to be using AI. If you're just finding someone off freelancer.com or some website like that, or if you're going on like a Fiverr, it's probably going to be AI written content.
But I thought you said AI was okay. So I'm just trying to help. I'm trying to understand. It's okay if it's good, is what it comes down to.
Yep, it's fine as long as the content offers value. Doesn't matter who writes the content, humans or AI. As long as the content offers value, that's all that matters to Google. So you don't need to go pay someone to use AI for you. As I was saying, you could just do it yourself and go to ChatGPT and put some prompts in there and get some good written content. So if you want to use AI, you can just do it yourself. You don't need to pay someone to do it.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. You're just saying why pay to use AI when you could do it yourself?
Yeah, unless you can find good writers, that's great. But it doesn't matter who writes the content as long as it offers value. So whether you use writers or AI, Google doesn't care anymore. But a lot of people still want to use people. So if you can find good writers, definitely hold on to them. I have a writer. She's an English teacher. She prides herself on content, hates AI. I know she's not using AI, but unfortunately with a lot of my writers, I have to still check almost all their articles every once in a while just to see. And especially once their frequency goes up to writing, like when writers start writing 3 a day, where they would write 1 or 2 a day at max. So just like, all right, it doesn't really align what's going on and everyone is using it. So as long as you use it and just make sure it's accurate and read through that content, you should be good to go.
And I think like if they use it and the content is still good, but then also knowing like, hey, like maybe we can get a better price for this because they're able to produce more, right? Is that accurate, would you say?
Most people are still going to charge full price and not tell you.
So, okay, with that, what do most writers charge? Obviously, I know there's levels depending on if they're foreign or how good they are. But what are we looking? I mean, I think most people charge like per minute or per article. Like how would I know how to find a good writer? Like where would I look? Would I go to Upwork? Like what are your thoughts?
No, the best way to find writers is go on like local websites. Like Craigslist is pretty good. You can find local writers that are based in the United States. You don't want to outsource it to another country because probably going to get some content that doesn't really read properly. Sometimes it's good, but most of the time you're gonna have to go in and edit it, and it's just more work on your end. So if you can find something that's local, and usually it's per word. Usually in the past when I'd have writers, or I still offer it as a service, if people need content, my writers charge $50 for 400 words of text.
Okay. So yeah, they can either they can try to find their own writers, or they can go through someone like you and you can help kind of manage that. And do you help make sure that they have good like content and stuff like that? Or do you just introduce them to the writer and then they work with the writer directly?
No, we make sure that they get SEO friendly content. So content that's
Got it.
optimized for people, written well with all the content. And then it also has those keywords sprinkled in. That way we could try to maximize that reach of that article to get as many eyeballs as possible.
Okay, awesome. So let's talk about link building, right? I mean, you said it, I've heard it time and time again. It's very difficult to rank high if you don't have other people saying, hey, this is the guy, this is the girl, this is the website, right? These are the people you want to go to. So other people linking on their website, other people linking your website on their website, essentially, correct? What does that look like? There's like white hat and black hat. Like, what is a good way to build links? What's not a good way? What kind of links are you looking to build? What can you share with us in that regard?
Basically, you want other websites to talk about you. The more third-party sites that talk about you and mention you with a clickable link, more popular, the more trust Google's going to give to you, and the higher they're going to rank you in those search results. Basically, it's all about just trying to figure out how can I get other people to talk about me, which is not easy to do. And there's lots of ways to build backlinks using tools. The ones that we talked about earlier, like Ahrefs, Moz, or SEMrush, are all really backlink checking tools. They have all these other tools like keyword research and things like that, but they're really to check backlinks because I could see what your backlinks are and you can see what mine are. If I go into Google, search for my keywords and see that you're ranked for my keywords, I'm going to throw your website into these tools, look at your backlinks, and then one by one reach out to those sites that make sense. I'm not going to go after every website because you might be getting some weird ones or sketchy ones, which is natural. There's always going to be some weird backlinks. You can't control who links out to you. But when I am doing that outreach and trying to build backlinks, I'm going to find sites that are related to what I'm doing and have some authority. You don't want to just go after any website. You want to go for sites that are at least somewhat related to what you're doing. It doesn't have to be exactly what you're doing. Like I'm doing SEO. You're not doing SEO. You're doing the Millionaire University, which has some similarities, but it has overall similarities where it's like about business, about entrepreneurship. So it's similar to what I'm doing, and that's good enough to Google. I don't have to reach out to other SEO companies because they're not really going to give me a backlink. They're going to be like, nah, we don't want to help you out.
Yeah, totally. But it's relevant. It makes sense. Like Millionaire University giving a backlink to SEO optimizers makes sense because that's part of what we talk about, right? But yeah, your direct competition like isn't going to give you a backlink. So nor should they. It doesn't really make a lot of sense in that regard. Okay, so you talked about like authority. How do we know what a site's authority is? Is that also something you find on these tools?
All these tools have their own arbitrary ranking system of what they try to emulate, which is Google's PageRank. Google PageRank was from 0 to 10. 0 is the worst, 10 is the highest. And the higher the number, the more trust Google gives to you. But Google stopped showing that a while back, like probably 13, 14 years ago, they stopped showing PageRank. And so all these tools said, all right, we're just going to try to guess at it. And Moz has like domain authority and page authority. Ahrefs has domain rank, and all these other third-party tools have their own rankings. So you just go, and when you're in these tools, they'll kind of sort it from highest to lowest. So you can try to go for the bigger sites first, which also are probably going to be the tougher ones because it might be like a New York Times or Wikipedia, which are tough to get a hold of people there to try to include you into a New York Times article or changing a Wikipedia page. Things like that can be a little tricky.
Okay. But what is the best way to go about like reaching out to these guys? I love what you said about finding your competitors, seeing what backlinks they have, and you could probably go on their website, seeing how they have those backlinks. Like, is it a blog, like a guest blog post, or like did they guest blog post on that website? Is it a podcast interview? Did they write some kind of article where they interviewed, like things like that, right? Like if you can see what they're doing, then maybe you can do something similar, like kind of reverse engineer it. Is that kind of the gist of how that would work?
Yep, 100%. If you're a local business, you could if you're a restaurant, you can put other restaurants in there and see where they've been reviewed. Like, are they on Yelp, on OpenTable, on Google Maps, but also like, are they on MapQuest and Apple Maps and all these other websites? Do they join like their Chamber of Commerce? And you can pretty much see their entire strategy and see, do they do a lot of press releases, or did they do podcasts, blogs, doing whatever it is? You could see exactly how other websites are linking out to them, and just try to come up with your own strategy and try, just like with the content, do a little bit better job of them. So trying to build a little bit more backlinks, trying to write a little bit more content. So basically with SEO, we're not trying to beat Google. Google changes their algorithm daily. Nobody knows how it works. And if you did know how it works, tomorrow it's going to change and the next day it's going to change. But what we can do is see who's on that first page of Google, how much SEO have they done, and how can we just do a better job of it.
Okay. You showed us some way to reach out to people that are looking for people to write for them. What did we do? We went on Google and we searched writer. I don't know. What did we search for?
You could just search for your keyword. So if you're like a personal trainer, you just say like, go into Google and type in fitness blogs, and you'll get tons of websites that are all blogs that you could potentially reach out to them. But you can also do advanced search operators where you just get a little bit more specific, and you could put something like in URL, and then colon, and then in quotation marks, right for us, and then you put your keyword at the end, and it'll show you blogs that are looking for writers, because if you just search for fitness blogs, not all of them are going to be looking for writers, but using these advanced search operators that could help you hone in a little bit more and find exactly what you're looking for when you're searching on Google.
Okay, I love it. And then you guys have a service for that as well, correct? For helping create backlinks.
Help out with everything with SEO, because SEO is like a puzzle and you have to
Uh,
put all those pieces together. If you just write content but you're not building backlinks, Google's not going to trust you. If you're just building backlinks but you're not putting the keywords on your website, Google's not going to know what keywords to rank you for. So you have to, and there's lots of other little pieces like speed and mobile and stuff that we talked about that go into it. But if you're not building or doing everything that Google wants, Google's not going to trust you. And we want Google to trust you and rank you for those correct keywords. So trying to do that full service.
I love it. So you guys obviously do SEO. There's lots of other companies that do SEO. What are some of the things if someone's looking for a good company to help them with their SEO? What are some of the things they want to like look for, and what are some of the things they want to watch out for? Right? Like be aware, be wary of.
When you're looking for help with SEO, you just got to make sure that whoever you're working with is going to build backlinks. I get a lot of clients that come to me and paid companies for years and they only have 5 backlinks. And I'm just like, I'm not sure what this SEO company was doing, because without backlinks, it's not really possible to rank on Google. I've never really seen a website rank for competitive keywords that didn't have backlinks. Google's whole algorithm is based off backlinks and still heavily based off backlinks to this day. It's changed a lot how they look at them, but it still really needs, you need to have good quality backlinks, or they're building low quality backlinks and just building thousands of spammy backlinks. And basically what you want is quality over quantity. And a couple good backlinks every single month is really what you need to go for. You don't need to build hundreds of backlinks every single month. Unless you're like a big corporation like Target, Walmart, that's fine for these big corporations to be getting hundreds of backlinks daily essentially. But small, medium-sized business should only get a couple backlinks every single month. And you just got to keep building up over time. And that's what Google wants to see. But a lot of people just don't know to look at backlinks or don't know what they are when they're going to look for SEO companies. And if you want to make sure this company's going to do a good job, you can even look at their backlinks using tools like Ahrefs or Moz or SEMrush. I think might give out like 1 or 2 free searches. So if you are looking at an SEO company, you could look at their backlinks and make sure at least they have some backlinks built to their website, and or even look at their backlinks. If you see they're all coming from like foreign websites and weird sketchy sites, then maybe you should just steer clear of that company.
Okay, so just like common sense stuff. Like if his company is getting you backlinks that are ghetto, they're not ghetto, but like from like janky, like sketchy websites, like you don't want to work with those guys, and you kind of confirm that ahead of time. How long does this usually take, like to get like results? If I'm starting today, not getting any very much traffic from SEO, I know this is a longer term game. It doesn't happen overnight. How long can I expect till I start ranking somewhere on Google and start getting some traffic from that?
It really comes down to the competitiveness of those keywords and how much SEO you've done to your own website versus your competition. If you're a brand new website, Google's just not going to trust you. But if you've been around for 5, 10 years, have a lot of good backlinks, and all of a sudden you just fix your keywords on your website, you'll just move up much quicker and faster. On average, it takes about 6 months, but it could be shorter and it could be longer, just depending on how old, how much trust Google has given to your website versus your competitors.
Based on what you've done. Now, there's been a recent like update that I know has a lot of like bloggers and SEO people kind of in an uproar. What's it called? The Google friendly, content friendly, helpful update or something like that. What's the name of it?
Yep, that's the one. But Google has these updates all the time. And anytime they do an update, people are happy or sad. But this one's just really at AI and just making sure you don't just use AI to pump out thousands of articles every minute and just throw it up on your website, because once people realized how easy it is to create content with AI, people went a little crazy and didn't realize that AI is not accurate. And if you're just throwing up all this content just to throw it up, it's not helpful and it's not beneficial to the reader.
Something I've noticed a lot recently on searches, I think since this update, is I'm seeing a lot of like forums like rank a lot more than I used to. Like Reddit and Quora and things like that. Are you familiar with that? Is that something you're seeing? Like, is this a good strategy? Do you want to try to get into these forums, or is that something you just would say don't really worry too much about? Just try to create the best content you can, and I don't know. Is it just me, or is this something you've noticed at all?
If you could be active in forums and build trust there and answer questions, but that takes months to build that trust up. You can't just go in a forum and answer a question and put your link in there. They're going to kick you off instantly, especially on Reddit. But if you could build it up over months and years and then have like your username as your company or or just slightly subtly putting it in there, but it's tough to promote yourself in those forums.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, this has been awesome. Is any final parting words on SEO or anything you would recommend to anyone out there who's looking to grow their business?
So I create a special gift for everybody if they go to my website at SEOoptimizers.com. That's SEOoptimizers.com/gift. And they can find that gift there along with my contact information and classes I've done over the years. I've thrown up for free so they could see step by step how to do a lot of stuff that we talked about. And also, if they want a free website analysis, they could book some time on my calendar, and I'm happy to check out their website from an SEO point of view for free there as well.
Awesome. Well, I can attest that Brandon is awesome. He knows his stuff. I've seen a lot of great content from you. And then you talked to me that one day and just gave me a bunch of free info. And then I had a lot going on. I didn't get back to you. You followed up with me. We got on another call. We paid you for your time this time. And yeah, you just gave a ton of great info. So highly recommend anyone who's interested in growing with SEO to check out SEOoptimizers.com/gift. Thanks, Brandon. This has been awesome. We really appreciate everything you've shared with us.
Thank you for having me on today.